What's going on, everyone? This is Ray here. It's been a while. Hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy. We're going to be doing another 1 Minute Melee soundtrack breakdown today, and in honor of spooky season, we're going to be breaking down Creep Squad, which is a soundtrack that plays between the fight of Enderman and Slenderman from the 1 Minute Melee series.
I got a puppy. Say hi, Boogie.
When I was creating the soundtrack, definitely it was released on Halloween, I believe last year, and it was quite a joy to make, and I really was trying to embody the whole eerie, spooky aspect of it just to really give it that vibe. Needless to say, it was a ton of fun to work on, so let's go ahead and break that session open and check it out. Alright, so let's get into Creep Squad. So this song right here, again, I was mentioning it. We released it on Halloween, and we really wanted to fit the vibe as far as just making it kind of oddball and creepy, and that's why we got Enderman and Slenderman facing off in this episode. So in addition to just riffing out and making something really edgy, I believe honestly this was probably one of the first songs that I really took some extra time in just some musical sound design. So let me explain what I mean by that. There's going to be a few sounds and instruments in this song that, you know, honestly, they're going to sound very abstract, and you would think that they would kind of just be background noise or some kind of abstract like soundscapes, maybe in like a movie or just like a goofy cartoon or something. So I'll break it open and I'll show you guys a little bit about what I mean. Okay. So once again, if you guys are familiar with the way that I break these sessions down is, for the most part, all of my songs are mapped right alongside the animation itself. So you'll see up in here in this top left corner that I have the animation from Hypergauge here, which actually that was a pretty funny clip. That's actually Mally being held up. So how does the animation start? All right, well, it's Mally running through this forest. right here up in the top left, and he finds a sign, you suck, and ambushed by the man. So it's funny, the very first part of the song actually is I guess it's kind of musical, but again, like I was saying, it's just more so of like a soundscape type vibe, just to kind of fit the animation. So you can kind of see alongside right here is that what's going on is, as I play it, you just kind of have these like chimes and these bells because Mally's running through the forest, and I just wanted to make it sound a little eerie, right? And then that thing right there. So you got that weird little, that's not even really like a musical note, it's just this weird little cinematic effect right here, this guy. Just from kind of looking off to the side. Honestly, I'm so bad with characters. Wait, which one is that Enderman or Slenderman? I think that's Enderman, right? And then this is that's Slenderman? I'm really bad with these characters. I think that's Slenderman though, the suit. Anyway, so when Slenderman kind of like looks off to the side, that's that like I said, that little sound design going on. So as soon as the song actually starts to come in, and with the drums and everything, we just have a bunch of strings and some violins playing and some like very high-end cellos, and they just kind of start over the drum beat. So they come in like this. So those cellos and those strings right here are pretty much just very quick little, and it might actually sound, this is way before I got some better string libraries in my arsenal, so these ones soloed out might sound kind of funky, but so when things are starting to sound kind of creepy and I guess scary or spooky in a lot of music, it's that quick little back and forth, just between like, kind of going up and down between half notes and such. So that's kind of what I wanted to emulate here. So it's just kind of up and back. So just kind of, and I threw another octave on top of those right there just to add some intensity. And then as those are climbing up, we got the French horns that come in right here. then it starts to rock from there. So as soon as that drop falls out, as soon as that climb kind of finishes, the drop comes in with the guitars. So the guitars for this, there's some parts in this song where the guitars. There's one specific part where I'll show you guys that it's gonna be it's kind of weird, something that I ended up doing. But here's a little intro riff by itself, and with the guitars coming in. Wait, is this? I'm sorry. Here's the more processed guitar. So this is actually the guitar that has a little bit of effects on it, just to really make it pop out and stand very bright. And again, just kind of going for a little bit more of eerie, spooky vibes, so there is some notes in there. There's one little like flat note in there that usually makes things sound a little bit more dark. So I kind of kept that going throughout the rest of the riff. That that little flat note right there. And so again, there's all about just instrumentation to give it that creepy vibe. So what I ended up doing was adding some bells right in here. So we have this right here. So I really just, what I did is I had that lined up, and I just started kind of playing around. I think this was in the key of, I think this was in E, yeah. So when I was making that, I had the guitar riff already made, and I just let it play out, had it on loop, and I just kind of started playing on the keyboard. I am not a piano player by any means. I kind of riffed around and pecked around with these, and then I had to kind of line everything up in place by moving the MIDI around and everything right in here. But I think it really fit the vibe. Just like I said, getting that kind of like weird, creepy vibe with those chimes playing over the guitar riff. So there you go. So we have that going on. And here is where things get a little wild. So that musical sound design, right? And so there was some noises in here that were, they had a tonal element to them. But some of them, I actually started messing around with these sounds before I even really had a good idea of what I wanted the song to sound like. So I had this weird instrument here, this weird synth, and what I did is I mean, you could see right here, I threw a whole bunch of processing on it. I mean, there's a bit crusher on here, there's some reverb, there's pitch shifting going on. I mean, there's EQ on here. There's a bunch of stuff on here. And what it all ended up sounding like at the end is this weird bowing type of just, I don't really know what it is. So here's what it actually sounds like. I'll solo these out for you. Spooky. So yeah, that, like I said, there is a note there. It is actually in the key of E, but I mean, you could barely even hear the tonal value to it. It just sounds really odd and abstract and very soundscape. So when you put that on top of everything that's going on, all these guitars, sounds really eerie and creepy. So that was one of the aspects of that musical sound design that I was talking about. The other one was actually on the lead guitar, the riff. So this guitar here was odd. I don't actually have this guitar processor anymore that I have that I had in the session. But what I did is I essentially is just a virtual amp, and I had some hardware, plugged the guitar right in, got a good amp tone, and I just started tweaking stuff. I threw like 5 different pedals on there, and I really, I think I shifted the pitch up a couple times, drowned out all the bottom end EQ, and it just sounded, it sounds kind of goofy actually. it almost sounds like a toy guitar by itself. So I mean, it has barely any gain on it. It just sounds very odd by itself. But again, I had this piece kind of done as far as the rhythm guitars go. So I had this riff already done, right? That right there. And I threw the guitar on top, and I was like, you know, that actually all sounds pretty crazy together. And with those big drowned out, those creepy drowned out synths, when that drop all comes in together, it really does just kind of sound weird and creepy, and it like I said again, it's all about the vibe, and I think it came out pretty okay. Right? So yeah, just little things, little notes that pop up here and there. Even the rhythm guitars themselves, the riff underneath it that's playing the rhythm has a little bit of an eerie shift in guitar pattern. But I mean, let's check that out. That sounds kind of like a haunted house. And even when you go into this this weird little like dance riff with the guitars after that, again, still just has a couple notes in there that are a little off and give it a little bit of a dark, goofy tone. And again, just threw a couple synths in here that had a very specific type of tone. Again, just weird, eerie type of vibes. Throw all of it on top together. There you go. So what do we got coming up here next? A couple more French horns leading up after that guitar part. By themselves, you could tell they sound a little off. Like I said, I'm using a few better things now. Again, just some phrasing going on that really gives it that kind of goofy, haunted type of vibe. If you notice this instrument, you might have heard in other songs, I love this little chiptune synth. So I like seeing that make a comeback in this creepy little vibe. And this is actually probably coming up is probably my favorite part of the song, just because it has this goofy little line to it that I don't even know where I drew inspiration from this from, but this note pattern here, I just thought it had this, like I said, this goofy little haunting vibe. So pretty much every instrument in that sequence right there is essentially doing the same thing. So you got the guitars doing that riff. Right? So you got the guitars doing that, obviously the bass. And then you have these little harps right here. And what we did is to build intensity right at the very end of the phrase, we just threw an octave on top of it. Shift up. So I really like how everything ends up playing together in a sequence, and it sounds very, very hard. So everything playing in a sequence together, and it just really has some oomph to it. So to close out the song, I got a little crazy with the piano. And what I mean by that is after these big 808s that start right here, you're probably going to be able to hear that if you have some big headphones on, so I would highly recommend wearing something to where you can hear the low end there. But this part, like I said, I think I went a little overkill with some of the piano. And that was essentially just a chaotic little frenzy of just messing around with the piano, finding the right notes in between this giant run that had the certain dark flat notes in there that gave it that edge. Yeah, that was a whole fiasco, but I think it ended up pretty okay. And you put all it together, and it just those final little drops right there, those final little notes, sorry, those little dyads, they just set up that really big drop right at the end. And so if you go all the way back to the beginning of the song, you will recognize those bells. Right here at the end, same thing. And those are the ones that kind of started the whole song. So there you go, guys. That is Creep Squad. Like I said, I really wanted to put this one out just because we are coming up on Halloween. I do wish you guys a very fun and safe spooky season. Please celebrate Halloween responsibly. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.